In this video, I want to talk about the top 6 largest companies that are part of the NASDAQ 100. We talk a little bit about the index in general and how it's performing. And I also want to talk about 2 individual companies that are relatively new on the American stock market and that are performing extremely well over the last couple of months. Hi, I am Michael and we talk about investing and personal finance. Today from a bit of a different location in my backyard, as you can see. But I thought I'll change up the scenes a little bit and we'll provide you from this location with a couple of information. So before I get started, the quick disclaimer as usual. I have positions in some of the companies, and before you consider investing of those companies, please do your own research. What I talk about is general information only and should not be advice for you to buy or sell any of those companies I mentioned in my video. So let's get right into it, talking about the largest holdings in the NASDAQ 100 and why do I think it's so interesting. So the NASDAQ 100 index has performed super good over the last couple of weeks, and this is because there are so many technology companies that are potentially not that impacted from the current downturn and the current economic situation, and they even benefited from the current situation because they have a lot of online products. Their products are now more used than ever when everyone is staying at home and just connects through the internet with other individuals or with services or through work or because of the work. And therefore the index has outperformed other indices like the S&P 500. And just to show yet, the NASDAQ 100 was performing already quite well, and it's up around 60% from its down end of March. So it's insane how quickly that index has recovered, and it is reaching new all-time highs over the last couple of weeks and days. And is up, I think, around 20% from year to date. So it's insane that even though the current market conditions are very rough and hard and not easy to understand, that index has performed so good this year. It's just insane, actually. And going through the positions really quickly, most of you or a lot of you will probably know those companies. They are well known, and the largest company is Apple within that index. Even though Apple had to close a lot of their stores across the globe, they are still performing very well, and obviously they are still selling a lot of iPhones, and they have established an ecosystem over the last couple of years that allows them to generate earnings even though they are not selling hardware as much as they did. However, people still want to buy iPhones, and they're still buying iPhones, and they're still getting a lot of revenue through those sales. But now more and more also through other channels, through the App Store, through Apple Music, and they are just doing very well. And one of the things that is true for all of the companies that I mentioned, there's still more growth to come. So all those companies are already doing very well, but they will do even better over the long term. And that's at least my opinion, and they will do really good. The next one on the list, one of the companies that I really like is Microsoft, and one of their best products and why they are doing so well is because of their cloud infrastructure, which called Azure. And through that service, they are offering online storage, online services, online server, backend server, so that people don't have to have that infrastructure on premise for companies. And a lot of online businesses are relying on that infrastructure nowadays. And that's the fastest growing part in their business, but they have also their main product which they had from the beginning on, that is the operating system Windows, and that's obviously used on so many devices. So I don't have a number, but the number of the percentage where that operating system is used is actually quite high. I would even say that it's 70-80% of all devices, all compute devices running in the world are using Windows operating systems. And so I think there's still a lot to come, but still it's a great company, and I certainly would continue to invest, even though it's a high price now. But it's a long-term investment, and they're paying out a dividend, and I continue to purchase part of Microsoft just to grow my position slowly and over time. And therefore I'm also not that worried about falling share prices either, because I know for the long term that company will do very well, and the position will just grow. The next one on the list is Amazon, and that's insane what the growth of Amazon was over the last couple of weeks. That share is just skyrocketing. And of course that is because now everyone is ordering online. Even before that, Amazon was a great company, but there's just so much more that's going on. One of the cloud services which is super successful, they were one of the companies that established that product very early, and they invested a lot of money, and it's somehow that idea of cloud computing was obviously not invented by them, but they have commercialized it as one of the early adopters very well. And of course, online shopping, it's becoming more and more popular, and people are not going out that much, and they are ordering online, and especially in US and in Europe, Amazon is very established, and everyone is just ordering online, and they will continue doing so. And Amazon is still extending their range of products that they sell, even though it's almost capturing everything, but it's just an incredible company. And what Jeff Bezos is doing there is just insane. And number 4 on my list is Alphabet, and that's one of the companies that I think potentially will even go higher up in that rank, in that order, because I think Alphabet and it's previous called Google, and obviously their main product as such is Google, is just doing really well. Even though their advertising business has decreased a little bit, however, I believe that will go up again, and they have so much more to offer. They have so many other parts of the business that are looking into different areas. One is looking into new innovative businesses to either grow new business ideas or to purchase other business ideas, other small companies to obtain in their ecosystem, and to grow their ecosystem basically through those other business ideas and products. But they also have very established services. As I mentioned already, the advertising. Another growing product for them is cloud computing, not so much in the commercial area, which they try to grow into, but a lot in the private sector, where people have Google accounts, where they use more and more storage from Google, and they will continue their cloud offerings as such over the future. Number 5 on my list is Facebook. And that's always a little bit of a question mark behind it. Is their product actually sustaining over the long term? And when you just see the platform Facebook, then you could actually question that a little bit. However, I believe that the range of products that Facebook is offering is just incredible. They are investing also into new companies. They're investing in AR and VR. And they have now a number, so they acquired Oculus a number of years back. They acquired WhatsApp and Instagram, and those platforms, so Instagram, for example, it's heavily commercialized now. WhatsApp is not commercialized as yet, but that will come very soon. And when we have more online payment coming up, and they will just extend the range of WhatsApp in the future, and the integrations that you will have with WhatsApp. It's just incredible to see how many people they reach with their product and their product range. And things like Oculus, for example, yes, that was a heavy investment, and there's potentially not that return of investment yet in terms of the actual mass production for those products, but there's a lot of innovation that still has to come, and therefore I think Facebook is certainly a very good investment, especially over the last couple of months. You could hear that they tried to offer payment through cryptocurrency, and yes, it's a very hard process, but I'm convinced that will come into the play at some point with their own currency. Yes or no, we don't know. It was planned that they introduce a currency called Libra, I think, and so yes, it's not there yet, but something will be there in that type of market very soon. Payment or cryptocurrency or connecting people through WhatsApp and connecting payment and shopping and integrating that into WhatsApp. And I usually would say we talk about the top 5, but in this video we talk about the top 6, and I think that's interesting because it's obviously one of the most discussed stocks over the last months, which is Tesla. And Tesla's share price is just, it's insane to see where that price is going, and all banks are increasing their price target for Tesla because they now see, and if you would have asked me 5 months ago where I would see the price for Tesla, I could have not imagined that it would cross the 1,000 US dollar mark so quickly, and now we are approaching even higher areas with that price for Tesla. And yeah, obviously the production is working much better. They opening new factories across the globe. They are now building a new factory in Germany, I think in Berlin, and the product obviously gets more and more mature. So a lot of people like Tesla. It's a product that polarizes, and the technology is obviously something that will get better over time, and they're updating their product, their cars on a regular basis. So they are basically taking a bit of a approach from technology industry to upgrading their products every year, and not making a new car every 5 or 6 years, which was very traditionally for the car industry. However, they're upgrading step by step, so every year there are some new upgrades to their current models, and that's certainly a new approach. And yeah, the sales numbers are increasing. Yes, the company is not making a profit. They had some quarters where they were profitable. However, they will become profitable at some point when they are just selling more cars, when the production costs are getting lower, and it's just bam, it's just really good. However, I think the price tag that they have at the moment is really high, and I would not be sure if I would invest a lot of money at that point, because it would be just certainly a challenge to go higher up in just the same with the same momentum, basically. Anyway, those were the top 6 companies from the NASDAQ that are basically making out the biggest part of the NASDAQ 100. And now talking about 2 companies that I think are also really interesting. They had their IPO in 2019, so both companies are relatively new on the share market, and they are still young companies. Nonetheless, they have a really good product, and they are both connected to cloud and cloud environments, and therefore their stock price has just insanely increased since all those tech stocks are basically coming up. And the 2 stocks are Cloudflare and Fastly. I've talked about Cloudflare a little bit in one of my last videos, the update from the Spaceship Voyager portfolio, but I want to go into detail a little bit. So obviously with the current price target, or with the current price being so high, and I will put up a recent screenshot of the chart and the current price into the video, you can see that it's just the growth has been insane. it was down to 15 US and has now increased by 180% since that low in March. And since it first got traded in September 2019, it was trading at 18 US dollars, still an increase from 135% in not even 12 months. And so what they do is they offer web infrastructure and web security products. So they help cloud companies to provide better products and provide structures. They run data centers, and they help companies that want to have a good and fast web page to have a faster online presence. So all around making sure that the communication is secure and fast for online businesses. And that's obviously asked a lot in the recent time. And Fastly is very similar, and the name obviously suggests already what they do. And one of the interesting things here is that they not even have that web-based security and internet security part on top of managing networks and managing cloud services, for example, for load balancing and faster services. And one part of the business is focused around edge cloud computing, which is more of a new cloud environment, a new type of cloud environment that will become more and more popular in the future. It's just a new way of providing cloud environments to customers. And yeah, the growth there is even more insane. It grew from $22 when it first launched in June last year. So there we probably have the exact 12 months or 1 year. It's trading for 1 year. Since then, it is up 370%. And from its recent down in March, it's actually up 850%, which is crazy. A stock that got up so high, so it's almost a 10-bagger in just a couple of weeks. And yes, it's an established company with a good product. However, it's insane to see the growth rate of that share price. And yes, the last couple of days it got down a little bit, but it got definitely so high that it's certainly normal and absolutely good that it got down a little bit. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the development of all of the companies I mentioned today will be over the next weeks. Certainly interesting to see what the situation in the world will change to over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I hope that those insights and the information about the companies from the NASDAQ 100 and also about the two companies I mentioned, Cloudflare and Fastly, were helpful to you. And again, make sure that you do your own research when you invest in those companies. But all of them are still set up for growth, all those companies. And it's just interesting to see and to watch how they will do over the next year, for example. Thanks for watching the video. Glad you signed in again, and I'm gonna see you in my next one. Until then, bye.